I'll tell you what, it's about time that I got a fresh shoe, so I finally got them in the right size. I had to size up in the Hyper Boost Edge, and we're going to get our speed session in today. So we've got a block at half marathon pace, or a progressive run, so we're going to do a 10-minute warm-up, we're going to get into 40 minutes, building up to like 4:40, which I think is going to be half marathon pace for this half marathon. I don't think it's going to be a full PB, but we're going to be working towards that pace anyway. And then I'm going to explain in this video the 4-hour hybrid week, the 4 sessions, the 4 hours of training that you need in order to be the most balanced with your lifting, with your running. I'm going to walk you through what to do, what sessions to do, and how that sort of looks across the week. But first, as I said, let's get this session done. Let's hope that your trainers don't get too dirty, and let's get into the video. Let's go. Tell you what, that went better than expected. So these on the first wear are very, very good. So we meant to do a 10-minute warm-up into 40-minute progression from 5:10 down to 4:40, and I basically just spent 40 minutes at 4:31 on average. So I literally just sat there and stayed there for the full 40 minutes. So very pleased with that. That's given me so much more confidence leading into this prep, because I don't think I've hit like that sort of pace for that long since like February, March time when I did the half marathon. So very, very happy with that. Very, very happy with the shoes. Again, first wear, obviously, everyone says about the heel on them because they've got like a little bit of a different heel that it rubs, but didn't have any issues with that. All I would recommend is I usually get an 11-inch shoes. These are 11.5, and they're still a little bit snug. So probably size up or half size up on top of what you would usually get. And if you want to grab a pair, I have got a discount code for Running Bear. They hook me up, they hook you up, you get 15% off as well. So I'll leave a link in the description if you want to grab some off the website or in store. And that's where I get all my running shoes from, so go and check them out. So the misconception that people have is that you've got to train 6-7 days a week in order to be hybrid or to progress in what you do. But I can honestly say, this picture was when I was training 6 days a week in the gym. I was doing stupid amounts of volume. And this picture was the other day, me training 3 days a week, a little bit lighter, and also running twice a week as well. So if you still can't commit to doing 5 or 6 sessions, which not many people can, I would recommend doing this over 4 sessions. So we're going to break it down later on in the video, but for 2 runs a week and 2 lifts a week is probably going to be the best bet for most people. Quite balanced across the both, unless you have more specifics, i.e. if it's more focused on physique, it might be more 3 and 1 lifting. If you've got like a half marathon prep, for example, or something similar, it might be shifted more towards the other way as well. So I think 2 and 2 is a nice even balance. So when we get back home to the laptop, we'll explain what the differences is in the sessions and the runs, then go from there. So when it comes to the 4-hour hybrid week, it's super important to split things down the middle. 2 runs and 2 lifts is going to give you a best of both worlds of running like a runner and looking like a lifter. Well, I'll talk through your training tomorrow when I'm down at the gym. But when it comes to your running, there's 2 runs I like to input into your week to make sure you're getting the best of both worlds. Number 1 is an easy run. You've probably heard this before, or a zone 2 run, and this is your aerobic work. This is your base builder. This is going to be the foundation of any sort of endurance race or event, and it's the bread and butter of building that engine basically. So on the Sunday, for me, or a long run, I like to plan in that mileage. It can work up from 30 minutes right the way up to like 80 minutes, where you want to stay in that zone 2 heart rate, and you want to really focus on getting time on feet and staying in that aerobic range, which makes you a lot more efficient at utilizing fats, which is going to help you with utilizing carbs later down the line. And the second one I always recommend is some level of speed session or an anaerobic session, you know, them higher heart rate zones to improve that VO2 max and also get more efficient at flushing lactate. So basically getting rid of lactate faster than it comes in. That's what we want to focus on in these speed sessions. So it also makes you more efficient at them top end speeds. It also makes you your turnover better. It also makes you more efficient on your feet. It allows you to stay at them faster paces for a longer period of time, and also helps you further down in the race as well. So when it comes to your speed session, for ease, you've got a different mixture of multiple different sessions. You've got fartlek, intervals, tempos, like you name it. And the one easy session I would recommend for you is some level of tempo session or time-based session. So for example, it might be a 10-minute warm-up into 2 lots of 10 minutes at more of a tempo effort, or a 10K effort or something with a little bit more give in it, followed by a 10-minute cool down. That's going to allow you to focus on time, not too concerned about pace at the moment. But if you do want to know what your pace should be roughly around where you're currently at, I'll leave a link in the description to grab a free guide which will walk you through every single pace that you should hit. But what I like about the time session is that it's so easy to think about. You can plan it into your watch, you can just get the job done, and you're getting the stimulus that you require. So when it comes to running, they're the 2 runs that I would put in every single week to make sure that you're building a solid base and you're also getting faster over time.
Can we get it how we used to get it? Cap on, and I got racks on. Spent 4 nights in the country I like, then take my rich ass back home. Glow so bright I can make moonlight see. This ain't like your pheromones. New one, big gun baritone. Who won? We won. Your home. We old school like Chopper though. My old school made Doctor know. My old school made hard knock. Black on black, my coupe and strap ain't balling on the hard top. I told y'all to call top. Now my number call block. I don't miss, I call shot. Hold up, yeah, cap on. And I got racks on. And I produce that diesel. I can put Shaq on. Hey. Nigga, your bitch gon' leave you. You ain't got backbone. I don't rely on people, I just go and bread chase. Whoa, this so fucking dope, I might catch a fed case. Whoa, you ain't getting money, nigga, then you dead weight. Whoa, got the drop on them, there you go, checkmate. Whoa, we go drop on them, y'all better play it safe. Whoa,
Cap on, and I got racks on. Don't be bitter, yo dope, they reconsider that shit be stepped on. Eastside Johnny way out that project, but then I get my rep on. Fuck yo, feeling no question, bitch, I kill it, I bring that check home. We old school like Domino, my old school mate.
So when it comes to your lifting with the 4-day hybrid week, I would set it something like this. So we've got a few things that we have to think about, which is your frequency, your volume, and your intensity. Obviously, your frequency is sort of made for you because you've only got 2 sessions a week or 3 sessions a week. That means that we've got to play around with the volume and the intensity. As volume is naturally lower because you're only training twice a week, it's super important to ramp up that intensity. Too much volume and too much intensity leads to under recovery, and too little volume and too little intensity leads to no stimulus or no change. So we're going to really focus on that one variable, which is your intensity. You need to make sure the sessions you are doing are giving you the benefit that you need and the most bang for your buck. So if I was structuring your workouts, it'll look like something like this in a week. I'll do a full body session on a Monday, I would do a speed session on a Tuesday, and I'd follow that with a rest day, which makes total sense. From there, I'd move into the back end of the week. You do full body 2 or full body pull, which I'll walk you through. We've got a rest day there, and I'd leave a longer run for the weekend where you've got a little bit more time, and then rest on a Sunday, or swap that around depending on your weekend as well. So when it comes to the type of sessions, I would structure it like this, because you want to make sure that we're getting frequency in every single session. I would structure it with a little bit of full body focus across every single session. And you can play around with the type of session that you do depending on your training experience. But for example, here I've done full body A, which is push focused, i.e. chest, shoulders, and quad dominance, and then a pull focus session for session B, which is more hamstrings, glutes, and back focus. So what we want to do is you always want to structure the sessions into like 3 different phases, basically. You've got the start of the session, which is always like your big lifts, and you want to be working close to that intensity in that 6 to 10 rep range, I would suggest. So in this case, we've got a hack squat followed by a bench press. So 2 big massive movements that are compounds for your quad dominant one and then also your chest dominant one as well. Middle of the session, we're going to be working more in that hypertrophy range or around the 8 to 12. Again, still working with good intensity. And we've got a lat pull down, for example, for obviously back. Again, getting that in there, even though it's not a pull focused day. Followed by a split squat, which is always super important for running. It's super important to do single leg exercises or unilateral, because that's going to help you with managing load through every single joint individually. So it's important to have strong legs separately. So we've got another one in the B session as well. Lateral raise, because they are absolute gold for any shoulder growth or any sort of physique that you want. And then we're going to finish with dips and bicep curls. So again, dips is probably an anomaly. That should also be like a heavy dip, 6 to 10 reps, followed by biceps curls, which can be something like 12 plus. So basically, big lifts at the start, some hypertrophy work in the middle, and then some accessory work at the end. With B, we're going to do exactly the same. So we've got a big RDL, again, pull focused, hamstring dominance, followed by a chest supported row, so a big back movement, and again, working in that 6 to 10 rep range. And then from there, we're going to move into the middle of the session, which is going to be, again, we've got chest fly to hit that chest movement for that day. We've got pull up, again, could be an anomaly if you want to do weighted pull up somewhere around that 6 to 10 rep range as well. The majority of the time, you're going to work somewhere between that 8 to 12. And then at the back end of the session, you're going to be doing your bicep curl and your tricep extension, of course, because as Hunter McIntyre says, biceps win races. So 12 plus, so you're getting a good mixture of, and with the hamstring for here, for example, you can do that single leg if you want to as well, to again work that muscle individually. So we're getting a good mixture across the board of big compound lifts, accessory work, some bodybuilding style stuff as well to help you with your physique, but also not tanking your recovery in the floor. So if I was training 4 days a week, it'd be 2 runs, and they were the 2 sessions that I would follow as well. Shake my hand. So before anyone comes at me in the comments and say, oh, what about 10 to 20 sets per muscle group per week? There's always going to be a trade-off, because the one thing you have to get into your head when you are having more of a hybrid approach to training is you're not a bodybuilder anymore. So yes, you might struggle to get 10, 15, 20 sets per muscle group. Yes, you might struggle to get
pushing twice a week, pulling twice a week. But this is why this split exists. It's a good balance of both. But the most important thing to focus on during these splits is your intensity, especially with your lifting. Like, I don't care if you've done 10 sets in the past or 15 sets in the past. I guarantee the quality of them sets has probably been decreased because you're not working close enough to failure. You're not taking your muscle through a full range of motion. And that's super important when it comes to your lifting, especially. So make sure that you're getting more bang for your buck from your training because you've got less time to do it. And obviously you've got your 2 runs in the week as well to support you with your endeavors, that fitness, that overall health, and that enjoyment of training as well. So if I was hybrid training 4 days a week, and that's what I had to play with, that is the split that I would follow. If you find that useful, you find it beneficial, drop it a comment, drop it a like. If you like this style of video, let me know as well. Always goes a long way. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Peace.